As you can see, the suspension is completely off the vehicle, and as we got more and more involved with this, it became apparent that the suspension was going to be a major problem. And indeed, that's exactly what we found. It is a very involved assembly. It's got a lot of bearings, a lot of shims, a lot of thrust bearings, and very, very fine tolerances, which it means that on assembly, everything was very, very tight together. And getting the pins out of the hull, the side plates, through these holes here, took a long time. We had to use, we made a slide hammer, which is this object here, and we spent hours, literally hours with this. Each time we whacked this slide hammer back like that, we pulled a pin out by something like half a mil, I would think, no more than that. So you can imagine the pins are this long, so you can imagine how long each pin took. It took probably about 3 weeks to extract all the pins from the side of the vehicle. Once we'd done that, the various components came away from the vehicle. The suspension levers, which are these units here, are connected to horizontal springs. And then the levers twist down and are then connected onto these, what we call bogies. Now these hold the wheels that the vehicle actually rolls on the tracks. They're quite small steel wheels, and they go in here. And then there's a central pin going through here, which connects on here. So all this is interconnected, and all of them, as I said before, the tolerances are so fine and very easily damaged in use as well, because this was produced by a company that made locomotives, and a lot of their design went into the final product, which is fine if you're working in a nice clean environment on straight railway tracks, but tanks are different. They work on rough terrain, a lot of dirt, a lot of mud, and all this gets into the bearings and damages them, wears them away very quickly. And consequently, we've had to change all the bearings. Each one of these units has 8 bearings to support 2 wheels in each bogie. That's a wheel. As you can see, they're made of solid steel, quite heavy, and that sits directly on the track. So you've got a lot of metal-to-metal contact, which means a high wear rate, and maintenance for this vehicle is extremely important because of that. It has to be oiled thoroughly. I think something like every 50 miles is the instruction in the manual for the vehicle. Each wheel is supported on 2 bearings and thrust bearings. So you've got 8 bearings per bogie. You've got 10 bogies, so you've got 80 bearings in total. Now we've changed all of these, and surprisingly, it's not difficult to find bearings. Bearings remain pretty much a standard item for years. And you can quite often find the actual number, the reference number on the bearing. And by quoting that to a good supplier, you can get a bearing relatively quickly. Indeed, that's what we found to be the case. But as you've got 80 of them, that's still quite a lot of money.